Hey, Zach.
Hey, Alex.
And welcome, everyone, to the Pokemon Power Podcast. Zach, I want to mention, I make a comment in one of the earlier episodes about how you can never seem to get it right. And then I listened back to it, and it sounds perfect. You're doing a good job, buddy.
I mean, I think it feels like we're not doing it at the same time because it's digitally this over Zoom, but
a Zoom podcast. Yes.
Yeah. Officially sponsored by Zoom podcast.
And we support everything that Zoom does.
Yeah, it's stealing information. So, I mean, whatever it is, it's fine. It's because they support
Some
us.
random guy's going to pop in on our chat.
Hey,
some shirtless guy. All right, tell us your thoughts.
Honestly, that might really add to the podcast.
Sure.
Just see who can randomly show up in the Zoom call.
Well, it's been 30 seconds and I'm already shouting. How you doing, Zach?
Oh, man, I am so good. It's a beautiful day. Technology's working for me, not against me today. How are you doing?
Very, very well. It is actually a nice cooler day here in Chicago. It's still the summer when we're recording this. I no matter what, we're going to timestamp this, so I might as well say it's the beginning of August, but it's nice and cool today. I'm actually wearing a shirt that zips up.
I thought you were wearing like a Steve Jobs turtleneck kind of thing. Like you're in this this podcast is going to be really big. I'm doing CEO Steve Jobs turtleneck.
I do feel that way. You know what? I do feel like I am the Steve Jobs of the Pokemon Power Podcast, and you're my Wazowski. What's that guy's name? Wozniak. I was going to say Wazowski. That's the guy from Monsters Inc.
I feel like I'm Steve Jobs, and you are like
you're Mike Wazowski. The greatest duo of all time.
Yeah. I feel so honored. Wow. I mean, either way, Wozniak just means that you're going to really screw me over at some point on this podcast. So
Wozniak. Famously good at Tetris, which I know you're not much of a fan of, Zach, but he submitted, I believe, a Tetris high score to Nintendo Power that I believe took years for anyone to. I may be legend. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. Let's move on. This is 100% a lie. We have a new segment I want to introduce. It's a segment we're going to call Apology Time. You know, here at the Pokemon Power Podcast, we try and do everything perfectly, but we're human, and to err is human, and we erred. Yeah. So we want to own up to that.
When you make as many episodes as we do, it's so easy to make mistakes, you know, when you're putting out so much content.
And you know what? We want our audience to hold us accountable.
Absolutely.
But comment if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening and we say something wrong, you know, just tweet at us. Find us on Instagram. You know, if you can find out our home address, just send us mail.
Send us some mail. Tell us if our apologies are sincere enough.
Cordial mail. Yeah. Zach, I know you have something to say. I'll let you go first.
Well, what came to light after the last episodes, I claim it's because I'm a Poke amateur, and sometimes I
you don't claim to be a Poke professional.
I'm not claiming to be a professional. I'm just trying to express my heart on these episodes. Mm-hmm. And I believe I said something along the lines of Cubone being a sort of rodent. And I just kind of was, you know, I mean, in the cartoons, it almost looked like that could be fur, but it turns out it's like one of those things where you thought that dinosaurs had scales and it turned out they all have feathers. I thought that Cubone was furry, and it turns out when you watch, I think, a clip from the live action Pikachu movie.
We pulled up a clip from Detective Pikachu and showed it to you.
Yeah, it turns out he's so clearly a small dinosaur, which then completely adds an awesome element to his skull of his mother. I mean, he could be like an archaeologist, Cubone, that found this, you know, and he didn't have any pockets, so he's trying to carry around this really valuable artifact. I don't know, it really changed everything for me when I found this out.
This how we all carry any bones that we may find by putting them on our heads. The Cubone place,
you know, Cubone didn't have a pocket.
That's true. Great point, Zach. Well, you're a big man for owning up to that. I want to own up to something as well. In that same first episode, we played Too Creepy for Pokemon. I always want to give fair credit where it's due. And I want to give a shout out to Did You Know Gaming, because they were my source for a lot of those creepy, I believe all of those, I shouldn't say a lot of them, for all of those creepy Pokemon facts. So I do want to shout them out. Did You Know Gaming, great YouTube channel. I think they have like a Instagram and Twitter too. Just follow them everywhere. They're good people. And I'd also like to credit my own brain for making up the lies. I do want to say one thing that I'm not sorry for.
So
and Zach,
who's that
I think
apology to? The apology was to yourself for not crediting your own brain.
yeah, that's part that. That
You
part
felt
is
you really
I owe
needed to
myself
publicly give that credit to yourself.
Well, I wanted to give credit to Did You Know Gaming, so I don't want anyone to cancel us for not giving credit where credit's due.
Important.
I do want to say one thing though. Yeah. I know people are going to get angry. I know people are going to call us out in apology time and be like, "You should say the real name of the guy from Psycho." Look, we know his name. Yeah, it's Alfred Bates. Okay,
yeah, Alfred Bates. I could never apologize for that.
We'll never back down from that. We'll never apologize for that. His name is Alfred Bates. Zach, we're wasting a lot of time that's very precious.
Actually, that's the end of the episode now. So, I mean, great job, Pokemon.
What do you give Alfred Bates? Where does he rank among the Pokemon? Zach, we always like to open. We had a little apology time, but let's open with an icebreaker. We mentioned we're time stamping ourselves. I don't care. I mean, whatever. This week, Nintendo gave a free trial on the Pokemon fighting game Pokken or Pokken. How would you pronounce it?
I was thinking Pokken. Pokken.
Years ago, I called up a GameStop to talk to them about pre-ordering this, and the lady corrected me because I said Pokken, which sounds a little bit more like Tekken, which is clearly the company that made Tekken is making this. Yeah. The lady shames me. She goes, "Do you mean Pokken?" And I was so offended. I did not buy the game. I had a Wii U. The good games for that were precious, and I decided, you know what? This lady does not deserve this.
You said that was
she doesn't deserve my money.
Correct?
It was a GameStop, yeah. And
so, I mean, now
they're going out of business.
That train talking about some problems with GameStop, but I'm honestly not surprised that they ran business out the door. It seems pretty normal for them.
Well, Pokken, whatever it's called. Zach, what do you think of this game? But what do you think of the free trial?
In the just now, I found out that Tekken made it, because the entire time I'm like, that's smart of them to call it Pokken or Pokken because it's just like playing Tekken.
You thought it was stealing.
I know that it was. I mean, I thought it was like a homage. It was a nice. But I enjoyed it. I tried playing a little bit with Everett, my almost 4-year-old, and he just kept requesting for Super Smash Brothers. So I don't know if maybe that's it's definitely a fighting game. You got some really great specials as Pikachu's, who I played as. So a lot of fun, but I'm not a huge that type of fighter fan. If it's Tekken or Soul Calibur or whatever. I played them a little bit, but it just is kind of the demo. That was enough for me. I was like, that was great. I enjoyed that. So, but it seemed great. Seemed good.
I had a good time playing it with my kids. I will say just some nice stuff about it because I'm critical. I think it looks real sharp. Yeah, I like that they chose a lot of Pokemon that you wouldn't assume would be in a fighting game. They have like Suicune and Chandelure, and I mean they have some Machamp. Obviously, I mean it has 4 arms. It's perfect for a fighting game. But you wouldn't assume they'd choose Suicune, one that looks like a dog. You wouldn't assume they'd choose. They pick some interesting ones. They do have 2 Pikachus in there, which I think is they have Pikachu Libre, which is the wrestling Pikachu. Yeah. Which I mean, whatever. I guess I could expect that. Here's my criticism of this game. Okay. It is a fighting game with Pokemon in it. That's all I really wanted. It's like you go to your favorite, restaurant and you hear they're making pastrami on rye. You're like, I love pastrami on rye. And you show up and they got the pastrami on rye and you're happy. But Pokken just throws in a bunch of other stuff. They got support Pokemon. They got these limit break kind of things that are going on. They have little items that you can pick up on the arena, which add into your limit break. They have those phase shifts where it changes the style of fighting game. It's got too much going on. You go to your favorite sandwich shop, you get that pastrami and rye, and they're like, all right, pastrami and rye. And how about a spread of banana sauce on top? And you're like, what the heck? No. And they're like, and how about we add on as the cheese some blue? And you're like, what the heck? What, a blue cheese with a banana sauce? And it's like they're putting too much stuff on there. You got a good base, just leave it as is. I want the base. And they threw in all these crazy ideas. I respect that they threw in the crazy ideas. They didn't feel like they just wanted to do a Pokemon fighting game, but you threw in too much. Okay. Namco, Bandai Namco, which is the name you like to go by. I'll play another one. If you release a Pokken or Pokken 2, I'll happily play another one, add some new characters, and go back to basics. I would happily play that. I would love that.
Yeah, it was very over. Like when you have the demo and it's like, would you like to play the 20-minute tutorial to play the demo? You're like, maybe this is more than I expected. It's definitely that level. What's the DC one that's like big? Injustice, right?
Injustice, yes.
It reminded me of that, like where you're watching these people do like this like insane move where Superman like throws someone through 18 walls.
Yes.
And you're like, Pikachu, I don't imagine he's doing that. Like the scene that kind of got me is there's this like cutscene in one of his specials that you do where all of a sudden he has a giant fist. Did you see that?
Yes. That's very funny when that happens.
That's like punching lightning. And I'm like, Pikachu is I don't know a lot, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a giant fist.
Zach, I laughed out loud when that happened. And there's one other one, I don't know if you saw it, where you play as Shadow Mewtwo. There's Mewtwo and Shadow Mewtwo in this game. I don't know. Yeah. But Shadow Mewtwo, where he goes into space and legit throws like a spirit bomb at the planet. Yeah. I thought to myself, if I'm playing as Croagunk, and this thing if I'm Garbodor,
Garbodor's like, and see ya.
Like, why is there still a fight going on? Like if he's blowing up the planet. Anyway, it was a good time. I don't want to be too critical. Good job, Bandai Namco. Zach, we have a podcast that doesn't talk about
the next things. I could honestly keep talking about it for a long time because I think it's just a picture of like taking the game that people like, the fighting game, Tekken or whatever, like that kind of picture, and they just go, what if we put a bunch of Pokemon? And they did a good job like making the move sets interesting. But at the same time, it was like okay, what do we do with Superman? He throws a planet at somebody. We should do that with, and it's just like, guys, it's too much. It's too much. Zach, just try less.
Save your thoughts. So let's save it for the Patreon. We're gonna start one day, buddy.
This week already.
Our
we're
side
starting the
podcast.
Patreon.
More complaints about Pokken.
All right. Complaining about games that people don't care about. That'd be perfect.
Complaining about games that came out in 2017 and really came off the Wii U. Although let's stop talking about it. Zach, are you ready to talk about this week's Pokemon?
No, I'm ready to talk about all the re-releases for Nintendo Switch that really came out on Wii U.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. If you haven't played it, you gotta try it. All right.
Let's hit it up. What Pokemon are we? You know what? What Pokemon are we talking about today? Because I'm excited.
Well, I'm going to show you a picture for our segment. Gotta elucidate them all, where you look at a picture of the Pokemon because you don't know what we're talking about. You have any idea, Zach?
I don't, and that's the greatest joy of this right now. I'm experiencing it with you, the listener or the watcher. We're about to see what's going on and see if we can describe it together.
Give me your best guess. Who do you think we're looking at?
Without seeing anything so far?
Without seeing anything.
It's going to be Alakazam.
Wow, what a guess. It's not correct, but it is a guess. Zach, I'm going to put a picture of this week's Pokemon up on the screen, and I would like for you to describe it. I'm going to put that up there in 3, 2, 1, and then I am going to start the timer.
Oh, man. Okay, so you've got a giant sleeping pillow. That's what we're looking at here. Is smiling. Looks like you could hug this beautiful creature's blue, like a giant teddy bear, but has spiky nails. So, there's a little bit bite to him. He's got some spiky teeth. So, but he's really a giant bear that's sleeping and is adorable.
Wonderful. Zach, you finished with 4 seconds left to go. I think you did a great job explaining that.
I know what's happening every time, and then I get nervous.
I think you did a great job. I think you nailed the description there, because what we're looking at today, I want to answer the question of who's that Pokemon? And today it's Snorlax.
I thought we were saying it together. Sorry. I was really trying for it.
Hey, that's fine.
Okay.
I love when you try something, Zach. I don't care what, as long as you go for it. Zach, I have a lot of stuff to talk about with Snorlax. Any thoughts before we get into it?
I'm excited to learn with everybody, because what I know of him is he blocks the roads that I try to get around for just too long, and I get frustrated with him. That's the extent. And then I try to catch him and then end up accidentally killing him. That's my experience with him.
Zach, okay. I just want to say this is the first celebrity Pokemon that we're looking at here. Snorlax is a legit celebrity.
Okay. In the game, in real life, what's happening?
I think in real life, if you went up to an average adult on the street, I think if you were to survey 100 adults on the street, I think 30 of them 30 of the 100 would know who Snorlax is?
I think they would recognize him. I don't know if they'd name him. I mean, 30 out of 100, and we're adults now. And
this
so
is a segment also for the Patreon, by the way. Great idea.
We guess how many people would know.
I go on the street with the microphone. I go, do you know who Snorlax is? I just scream at people's face.
What a great, that's a nice thing. Hey, just put a comment or tweet us if you really want us to start going and asking people in the street and filming it. Just add that, send us $10. We'll start doing it.
I mean, $10, I'll do it for less than that. I'll do this for very cheap. All right, I want to talk about Snorlax. This is going to go in wild directions here. I don't want to state what my opinion is on Snorlax already, but let's talk a little bit about him. This is from Dr. Lava. We've talked about Dr. Lava before. I thank him at the end of every episode. He has lots of good information. Follow him on Twitter. This is a segment I'm going to call From the Lab of Dr. Lava. This is one of his tweets. He says, Pokemon designers have identified Game Freak developer Koji Nishino. And I apologize, I'm not a Japanese. I don't know Japanese. I'm doing my best with these names here. Koji Nishino as the inspiration for Snorlax's design. Early Gen 1 concept art reveals a monster named Kabin. Some fans believe Kabin is also based on programmer Koji Nishino, which would sort of make it beta Snorlax. So, Zach, to encapsulate what I just said,
yep,
Snorlax is based on a human man who worked on Pokemon.
Yes. And I'm not saying he should take offense to that, but it's interesting that that's the person they based off a human.
Yes, I'm pulling this up for you to look at. Yes, there's a picture of Koji Nishino. How would you describe Koji Nishino?
Oh, man alive. Just not the Snorlax.
I mean, describe him as a regular looking man. Snorlax, as you described, is gigantic.
Oh my gosh. But the Kabin in the middle, that does look like him though. That's really true. Got like the face and the eyebrows floating there. The Snorlax, they really made him a giant person. Like I was imagining he was going to be a sumo wrestler. That would have been the only thing that made sense to me.
I
like
know.
A sumo wrestler, but this is like just an average size. But I guess maybe like Japan, they were just like, hey,
I would
he's
say if
huge.
You compared him to the average American, he is small.
He's small. Yeah, he's below average. Yeah, for sure.
And I can't believe this. This was so, I could not move past this when I was looking into this. I was so freaking out that they based Snorlax, the giant sloth monster Pokemon, after a person, not just a person who works on the game. And this goes wilder when you take into consideration the Pokedex entries, because the Pokedex entries, you said, I don't know if they should be insulted by this or not. I think the Pokedex entries say to me, oh my gosh, what do my coworkers think of me that they named
this is when
Pokemon
he finds out that they've all been watching him sleep everywhere in the office or something.
Yes. Well, we'll get to that, buddy.
Okay, let's go for it. I'm excited to learn.
All right, so this is a Pokedex entry from Red and Blue. I got a bunch that we're going to go through. Red and Blue, it says, very lazy, just eats and sleeps. As its rotund bulk builds, it becomes steadily more slothful. Zach, if one of your coworkers if you got like a performance review and you got that back and it's like, here's what your coworkers think of you. You're very lazy. All you do is eat and sleep. Your body's just building and becoming fatter. And as you become fatter, you become lazier. You just be like, so am I fired? Yeah. Am I fired, or is there a lawsuit pending against my coworkers?
Yeah, I think maybe they were saying it like this is like a warning. Like, we really love you, okay? We care about you so much, but I'm gonna make this point. If you keep eating, you will keep growing. If you keep growing, you will become more lazy. If you become more lazy, you're just gonna keep eating. Like, this is who we see you becoming. You know, maybe that was like they're trying to put this picture in front of him and say, we love you, but we think that you're a giant sloth monster.
I know. So I want to get into Yellow, and then I want to, this is Yellow's description, and I want to kind of read a little bit more of where the name comes from. Yellow says, will eat anything, even if the food happens to be a little moldy. It never gets an upset stomach. Now
that sounds like somebody when he got caught eating somebody's lunch out of the fridge or something.
Like all the tweets that are responding to Dr. Lava was like, you eat someone's lunch out of the fridge once. And,
exactly.
But okay. I don't speak Japanese. I don't claim to speak Japanese. All my information's coming from third-party sources. But Snorlax's Japanese name is Kabigan, which from my understanding is a little bit of a Japanese portmanteau. which combines 3 words: snore, obviously, rest, and kabi, which, based on my understanding, is the word mold. And I'm sure I'll be revisiting this when we do apology time on some other section for me trying to understand Japanese. But especially on our end, we think of Snorlax, and I think of the American dream, a man who just eats and sleeps. What a wonderful life. And in Japan, they're like, what a disgusting creature this is. He's a mold eater.
It's a mold eating, just giant sloth. But they make him powerful, though. Yeah, I mean, like, they make him not necessarily powerful, but like huge amount of hit points, right?
Very powerful. I want to actually do something else real quick. I want to talk. We're going to jump ahead because you mentioned how strong he is. Snorlax has
let's
2
just
things.
Talk something positive about this poor guy. Like, because I'm just feeling like, let's just bring some positivity.
I don't know how positive this is going to be, buddy.
No.
But Snorlax has 2 things that I'd like to mention whenever these come up for these Pokemon. He has both a Gigantamax form and he has a Z move. Zach, do you know what either of those are?
Vaguely.
It's okay.
Like
You're the Pokemon amateur.
You can find like a stone and then your Charizard looks cooler.
That is no, that's not it. What you're thinking of is
like Ultimate Evolution or something like that.
Man, now I'm forgetting it. Hyper Evolution, Super Evolution. I'm gonna get in a minute.
It's not that though, so it doesn't.
It is not that. No.
Okay. Perfect.
I will say this podcast has caught me off guard when you have questions about Pokemon. It feels like whenever that happens, I'm like, I'm not prepared for this.
Okay,
something I definitely know. It has now exited my brain. Gigantamaxing is something brand new. This is to the new Pokemon entry, Sword and Shield, where they grow much, much larger. I actually kind of like this. This is kind of weird, but I do like this. This is a picture of Snorlax's Gigantamax form where he is as big as a football field. You see that, Zach? Did that pop up on the screen for you?
Yeah, no, I see that.
He has a big tree on him. He has a pathway leading up to it. There's like an entire world sitting on top of him, which I do like quite a bit.
And in this move is useful. What?
It's just you get into a big stadium and you get ready to fight your opponent, and you can just turn enormous. And in Snorlax's case, he turns into a giant, almost island type of shape, and it's just, I guess, fun to make him big.
Like, he's just as unbeatable because he's just a big landmass. So now
how are you going to hurt that? Tell me your plan. What are you going to do? Drop a bomb?
I mean, yeah, if I was a Pokemon that had nuclear powered Pokemon, I would do that. But I mean, chop the tree down. It seems like that would at least hurt. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. He also has a Z move, which were introduced in Sun and Moon, where it's kind of your super attack. His Z move, he does have one that's particular to him called Pulverizing Pancake. It basically just involves Snorlax sitting on you. I watched the footage of it because I never got it when I played Sun. No. And it's just him, like, he runs and then he jumps and then he like sits on you and that's it.
I mean, that's positive, right? That's positive. I mean, that's a winning move.
Buddy, you know what? I think we can redeem this a little bit. I have a couple more from the Pokedex that I want to talk through. Okay. In Gen 3, by the way, this is what I've come to realize. Gen 3 is where these things just completely go insane, where they just stop caring and like these things go completely wild.
Snorlax, like, the 11-year-olds that are playing this are not reading this anymore. Let's just write whatever we want. That's what we're going to do at this point.
I have a theory, and I'm going to get into this in just a moment. Snorlax's typical day consists of nothing more than eating and sleeping. It is such a docile Pokemon that there are children who use its big belly as a place to play. Now, here's the thing. I feel like there's guys who come on and write for the Pokédex, and they don't realize that the point is to scare children. That seems to be the point that every other writer is making. So like this guy wrote this, and then some other guy was like, you wrote that it plays with kids, that kids like it? No. I'm going to write that it eats anything. I'm going to write that if those kids come by it, you can make the assumption that it'll eat those children. Yeah. And here's the one that completely blew my mind.
Okay.
Fire Red. And there's a bunch that actually write this afterwards. It is not satisfied until how much do you think a Snorlax eats each day, Zach?
I mean, 400 pounds a day.
That's not that bad. According to Fire Red, it eats 880 pounds every day.
Not that bad. I mean, it was double what I said, but yeah, that's perfect.
It says when it is done eating, it goes promptly to sleep. Now, Zach, this almost broke my brain. I was thinking about this. I was like, how would this even possibly work within the world of Pokemon? This big land creature eating up to 880 pounds every single day.
880 pounds.
And I had to actually, I ended up looking up how much a sperm whale eats every day. Sperm whale, the biggest mammal on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. Who knows if there's bigger mammals in space? Only God. The sperm whale, according to National Geographic, how much do you think that eats?
Is it 1,000 pounds?
Double that. You got half every single time. 2,000 pounds every day, according to National Geographic. Now it put me at ease because I thought that, eating almost 900 pounds would surely just undo the ecosystem of Pokemon. Yeah. But here's the thing. Wait. Here's the thing that really got me freaking out. If a Pokemon's eating 880 pounds every day, how much do you think that thing weighs?
I mean, if a sperm whale eats 2,000 pounds.
I'll give you a sperm whale. I got the weight of a sperm whale because I was
great. Let me extrapolate the data.
A sperm whale weighs somewhere between 77,000 pounds and 130,000 pounds, which what? I know. Oh my gosh. I was freaking out as I was reading.
Podcast about whales? Because that's insane. They're in the water. They're just swimming around with 100 and how much thousand?
77,000 pounds to 130,000 pounds is what an adult sperm whale weighs.
130,000 pounds.
I know.
And they're eating 2,000 pounds a day.
They're eating 2,000 pounds a day. So, I mean, at the very least, that makes sense that they're eating 2,000 pounds a day.
What would that be?
So give me what you think a Snorlax weighs.
So if that's eating, I mean, far less than a tenth of its weight. Is that half of a tenth? How do decimals
You're doing too much math, buddy.
It's 1%, right? That's 1% of their weight. So then that would mean that you would do the Snorlax weighs, 8,000 pounds. No, more than that. It was 800.
No.
Oh my gosh.
It weighs 1,014 pounds.
What?
Which makes absolutely no sense unless, and I hate to get into this as a G-rated podcast, a family-rated podcast.
He's going to potty time.
Going to potty time all the time. But here's the other thing. If that is the case, how come you're not just walking around Kanto region and you're like, what the heck?
Oh, wow.
Why does it smell terrible?
Oh my gosh.
Of course, there's more Snorlax waste every single place around this region.
That's why everyone loves that the Snorlax is sleeping all the time. Because I assume that means it's not eating. And if it's not eating, it means it's not constantly going potty time everywhere.
I guess.
That's crazy.
But once again, I want to draw back to this. Koji Nishino is a real person, and they based this monstrous creature that eats 900 pounds a day, that likes to eat mold, that maybe eats the children that plays on its belly, that's known for being extremely lazy and fat, is based on a real person who not only seems to take this all in stride, he seems to be a very nice fellow. You want to know something? He is not the sole creator, but Koji Nishino should be well respected. He helped create Pikachu.
That's why he was holding Pikachu. He created that. And he's like, look at this adorable thing that I made. Isn't this so great? And they're like, we want to honor you, my friend. What if we make a giant, constantly pooping and eating monster? And we kind of make it after you. And
he's based off of you.
Did you see the Pikachu that I made? But this was cute. You guys know what cute is, right? And they're like, yeah, no, we get it. He'll kind of have he'll be smiling all the time while he sleeps.
He kept pushing. He worked with another Pokemon. He worked with a designer. He's a programmer, but he worked with a designer by the name of Atsuko Nishida, who made a bunch of Pokemon.
You totally did really great on that name. I just want to encourage you.
Atsuko Nishida, who apparently kept putting in pitches for Pikachu, and Koji Nishino's note repeatedly was, make it cuter. make it cuter. And I think it paid off big time. I think, he obviously knew what he was doing, helped create perhaps the most iconic character on planet Earth. This man should be respected. This man deserves our love and affection, not this derision that the Pokemon team continually places upon him.
Man. I like to think that you made a character that everyone looks around, that my child, when he could barely speak, he was saying Pikachu. That was the stuffed animal he wanted in the store. And the man that helped that become so cute is a giant sloth. That's how they honored him.
That's how they view him. Now, here's what I want to say, Zach. We're entering in. That he is. I
want to say, if you're listening to this, sir, I think that you are excellent. You are a hard worker, and you are an amazing human being.
We're big Koji Nishino fans here at this podcast, at the Pokemon Power Podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
We love him. And with that love, we need to make the Pokeball decision.
Okay.
This is the segment on the show where we decide we're going to essentially place a review, I guess, on these Pokemon. And the way we do that is by either throwing a Pokeball, a Great Ball, an Ultra Ball, or a Master Ball. We also mentioned in the past that we have the option to flee. Zach, you said that after the recommendation of our friend Carl,
yes,
he recommended that we should be able to throw rocks at the Pokemon like you can in the Safari Zone in Pokemon exactly. Red and Blue. Do you want to throw rocks at these Pokemon, Zach?
No, I absolutely want that to be an option. I'm not using it
okay,
today,
it's an option. It's an option. And you know what, Zach? I'm never going to take that option. I love these Pokemon too much. I respect Pokemon.
There are so many Pokemon that I can't wait.
I watched that Tiger King documentary. I saw that PETA was really going after those people. I don't want them going after me.
It was specifically because he kept throwing rocks at the tigers. That was like the biggest thing. It was
he kept throwing
rocks at him. Like he kept throwing it. He's like burying them in the backyard.
He's like, Arcanine. He threw a rock right at it. You're an Arcanine. You're a Tauros. What was the lady that he wanted to kill?
Carol Baskins.
Carol Baskin.
Anyway, so what Pokeball? I mean, I think where we're going with this right now.
How many Carol Baskins out of 10 do you give Snorlax?
I'm going to give him.
So what do you want to give Snorlax? And you can give your reason why. Pokeball, Master Ball, Ultra Ball, Great Ball, all in the wrong order there. What do you want to give it?
Great order you gave that in. So
this podcast is wild.
Every week we change up the rating just to keep those with power rankings just on your toes. Figure it out. So I'm going to go 100% Ultra Ball. I think that just to honor the man, the man that the Pokemon is in the image of. But also I've always actually kind of liked Snorlax, even before I knew this kind of storied history of his true nature, that he actually Snorlax created Pikachu in an alternate universe or something. But yeah, I've actually always liked him. I've always been disappointed when I could not catch him in the game because he had so many, he had just such a high like HP and all that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that I have him on my team. And especially after learning today that I have a move that I can pancake other Pokemon just by falling on them. What a great move. What a stellar man that this reminds me of. Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball.
Zach, I love it. I am also going Ultra Ball here. I am enamored with Snorlax. I think Snorlax encapsulates what a lot of young parents like me and you feel. I think, if any Pokemon I could just live out their existence right now, I would pick Snorlax. Just eating and sleeping. That sounds like an absolute dream. More than like a flying Pokemon, more than like a legendary Pokemon. I'd rather be Snorlax than Arceus. Okay. All right, haters. I'd rather be Snorlax than Arceus.
Personally speaking, turning into a Pokemon. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And you know what? I've worked many jobs and I've had people steal my lunch out of the fridge.
Wow.
And I've had angry thoughts about them. But you know what? I would never create a worldwide recognized creature that's known for its slothfulness, that's known for eating mold, and name it after that person.
Wow.
I would never name them Reuben. I wouldn't do that.
I'm just coming up with a name off the top of my head.
Just a name that could possibly be the name of a person who stole my lunch once.
Oh man,
this podcast has gone off the rails, but Zach, it's the time for our favorite part, and I'm very excited about this. It's time for the Pokemon Power Ranking. We've named our podcast after this. We've ranked 2 Pokemon so far. In second place is Cubone, in first place is Victory Bell. Where do you want to put this Snorlax?
Oh, I mean, I think you already know, but number 1, I mean, he's crushing everybody.
I wanted to say it at the beginning of the podcast, but I think Snorlax, I agree. Number 1, he's there. Let's put him on top.
For sure.
Not only that, I think he's going to stay there for quite some time.
I mean, who are we going to say they could actually beat him? I don't know.
I know. I love Snorlax. I'm very excited that he's number 1. I was very nervous that you would go in a different direction.
No.
That you'd be like, I don't like Snorlax. I like hardworking Pokemon.
That sounds so much like me.
I like Drudagon. You know, like I would just been like, oh my, I would have shut this podcast down.
I like Electabuzz. Okay, that is an electrician. He's out there fixing everybody's electricity all the time. No, I'm a big sleep fan. I think both of us are sleep deprived parents, and so any Pokemon that I can just kind of vicariously live through. And just be, man, sleeping everywhere all the time. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great, buddy. With the Pokemon Power Ranking in place, we're reaching the end of our show. Anything you want to say to our fans at home, our audience watching at YouTube, or our listeners listening from their respective podcast app?
Yeah, let me. I want to look right into the camera and speak right into the microphone right now. Be kind, guys, especially if you're making a game that might be a worldwide phenomenon forever. You know, maybe make everyone that you're going to base a Pokemon off of, or whatever you're making, make them nice looking or nice, you know, because here's the thing. We all have feelings, but you know what? At the same time, maybe they meant it that way because we honestly just picked him to be the most powerful, and he really is really powerful. So now I'm not actually sure if it is negative. Kind of, but at the same time, they did make him super powerful. Now I'm doubting myself, but be kind. That's number 1. That's true. Do you have any final thoughts? Because I really need to hear your final thoughts.
Koji Nishino.
Yeah,
I can't say why they named the Snorlax after you. I can't say why they based his design off of you. But all I know is we mean it as the absolute highest praise when we give Snorlax the top spot on the power ranking. We want that to be a compliment to Snorlax, and we want that to be a compliment to you.
Yes. Thank you,
as always,
Pikachu.
Thank you for Pikachu. Thank you for all the hard work you've put into Pokemon. And if you ever ate mold, don't worry about it, bro. That's just cheese, man. That's just mold. I eat mold every day.
Okay, and as we leave,
we have to close the podcast, Zach.
Don't eat mold, everybody. If we have some children listening, it's not just cheese. Okay?
No, eat mold. This is the message I want to send to the people at home. Eat as much mold as you can.
No, please. I'm gonna end it for us. Have a Poketastic day. Don't eat mold.
As always, the Pokemon Power Podcast would like to thank bulbapedia.bulbagarden.net, sarahb.org, and Dr. Lava YT. If you'd like to learn more about Pokemon, those would be great resources for you. If you'd like to ask us a question about next week's Pokemon, submit a game, or just keep up with the podcast, you can find us on most social media networks or platforms, whatever. I don't know. At Pokepowpod. I'm screwing this all up. Find us at Pokepowpod. And I want to say this.
Link in the description or something.
Link in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, we would ask that you like and subscribe. That helps our channel grow. If you're listening via your podcast app, please subscribe via your podcast app. That helps us as well.
Yep.
And I'd like to say to all of our listeners out there, to all our watchers out there, if you were a Pokemon, Zach and I, we choose you. Have a wonderful week.